All right, so now we're gonna evaluate functions. So before we begin, functions are special relationships in math where each input, x, goes to exactly one output, y. We use what is called a function notation as a quick way to evaluate functions and keep them straight. We've done this before. I don't know if you'll remember, and that's okay, because we're gonna do it again. So instead of writing y equals blah, 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 we write f of x equals, or g of x equals, or h of x equals, etc., etc. Now, f of x does not mean f times x, all right? No. F of 3 means that we are finding the value of the function when x is 3. In other words, this means we're going to plug in x equals 3 and evaluate the function. Versus f of x equals 3, which means your whole function is equal to 3. And you want to plug in where the y value is, and you would solve for x. So this 3 is your y, okay? Whereas this 3 is your x value. Cha-cha? Okay, now let's head inside. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna evaluate a graph. All right, so f of 6 equals blank, right? So this is an x value, right? So looking at my x-axis, here's 6. Here's the function. So here it's at, what's that y value for right there? 0. Okay. All right, next up we got f of -7. That's also an x value. So where's -7? Here it is. Here's my -7. When I go up to the function, I stop where it's at, and that value is 5. F of 5, again, x value already given, so we're going to find 5. All right, now this time we are given f of x equals 6 when x equals blank. So this time we are given the y value, but we need to figure out the x. So y values, here's 6. Now you got to be careful because you got to look to the left and to the right. So to the right, nothing. To the left, we got 2 somethings, right? We have -2 and we also have -6. So we will write out both. All right, now we have 3 as the y value. What's the x value? Well, here's my 3. Look to the left, nothing. Look to the right, only once, right here. That's it. And that's halfway in between. What's halfway in between 0 and 1? 0.5. Then we got 8 as our y value. So here's my 8, 7. All right. Next up are tables. I like tables. I like tables a lot. Okay. So one thing you got to remember, f of x equals y. Okay. Ooh. Okay. So this is the x value, f of 2. Here's my f of 2. But this is an x, so they gave us the x. Here it is. The partner right next to it, -1. All right, next up we have g of -5. So that's an x value. Looking at my g graph here. Okay, we got the x value though, so I want to find -5. Here it is. Drop down. Its partner, 4. Next up, we have f of x equals 7. So this is your y / your f of x number, right? So we're looking at the f table. We're looking at f of x side for 7. Here's that 7. The number partner is 8. So that's x. All right. Next up, we have g of x equals 10. So that's a y value, and we're going to look at the 10. Here's g of x is our y values. We're going to find 10. Here it is. Number partner is -8. 10. Next up, evaluating equations. All right, so this is where it gets fun. This is where you might need a calculator, okay? I'm not going to use one because, well, I'm a nerd. All right, here we go. So we're going to evaluate f of x equals 9 minus 3x, okay? So what's going to be happening here is we're going to be replacing that x. So in this one, we have -3. So everything about that original equation, 9 minus 3, stays the same, but instead of an x, we're going to do times 3, okay? From there, finish up evaluating. 3 times 3 is 9, so now we have 9 minus 9. 9 minus 9 is 0. That's your answer. All right, this time we're going to do -2, so it's still going to be 9 minus 3, but this time we are going to be multiplying by a -2. So you got to be cautious, be careful, watch your signs. So we're going to have 9. -3 times -2 is a positive 6. So now we have 9 plus 6, which gives us 15. So f of -2 is 15. Last one, we got 0. So it's still going to be 9 minus 3, but instead of an x, we're going to have 0. 3 times 0 is 0. So now we have 9 minus 0. 9 minus 0 is a beautiful 9. So we have g of x equals 9 times 3 to the exponent x plus 2. We're going to replace that x. That's the only thing that's going to change. So we're going to still have 9 times 3. Instead of an x, we're going to use a 3 because that's what they tell us to use, and then we're going to add a 2. So, got to be careful with this one. We're going to have 9 times 3. 3 plus 2 is 5. Then you do with your exponents. 3 to the 5th. That's 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. So that's multiplying 3 5 times. So that's going to give you 9 times 243. And 9 times 243 is 2,187. Don't be impressed. I have notes to the side. Then we have 9 times 3. We still have that plus 2, but instead of an x, we're going to have a -2. So exponent stuff first. See how we have a -2 plus 2? -2 plus 2 is 0. So now we have 3 to the 0. 3 to the 0 in your calculator. All right, so do 3 to the 5th if you have a calculator or the calculator app I showed you. 3, up arrow, 5, boom, 243. So I get 9 times 243, and 9 times 243 is 2,187. All right, then we have in our next one, so we're going to do 3 to the 0, so we got to do 3 exponent 0 is 1. So that means we have, move out of the way, 9 times 1. 9 times 1 is a 9. Then we have 0. 9 times 3 plus 2, that stays all the same, but instead of an x, we're going to have to put 0. 0 plus 2. We have 9 times 3 to the 2nd. 3 to the 2nd is 9. 9 times 9, 81. 81 is our final answer. All right, go forth, be merry. Thank you.